Hey, Arctic Cat fans. This is a video I didn't think I was going to make this year, but we got a surprise recently with the sale of Arctic Cat, and I'm excited to say that the cat is back. This is, for me, it has a little bit of a flashback to 1984 because that's when Arctic Cat came out of bankruptcy and offered new snowmobiles for the first time in a couple of years. And it was a 1984 model, but of course it was fall of 1983. One of the first snowmobiles they offered for sale was an old favorite, the Arctic Cat LT 6000. This was a liquid-cooled twin-cylinder engine, really a kind of a hot rod at that time, but a little on the outdated side. By 1984, independent front suspensions were becoming the norm. To me, it's one of my favorite snowmobiles of all time, the LT Gray. Absolutely gorgeous snowmobile, in my opinion. Really the pinnacle of that time period, and liquid-cooled engine besides, so lots of power. It was known as an extremely fast snowmobile of its day. Anyway, I digress. Right, we're going to talk about today is the 2026 model year. I wanted to get this video out because I think it's important that people know about this. And so I'm trying to get the word out and share what I know, what I've been able to learn. All right, so the Catalyst has a lot of potential, and the same thing with the 858. There's a huge amount of potential there. It's a very exciting time for Arctic Cat. They've been working on the fuel and oil calibration, so the ECU programming has been fine-tuned to not only meet EPA standards, but also to improve performance. And there's increased oil, 26% average increase in oil flow, depending on the throttle position. Improved calibration and robustness, in other words, fuel and ignition timing changes. The mounting, the way that the engine is mounted, and again, this is specific to the 858. They changed the rule book with the 858, so the mounting, the engine mounts are actually part of the engine block. They've made some significant reductions to engine vibration that are felt by the rider, and in some cases up to 50% less vibration. The air intake, they've made overall catalyst improvements to the airbox. And finally, for us trail riders, the ZR riders and the Riot riders, we've noticed that when you back up with the new snow flap design on the catalyst, that you had a tendency to break them off if you weren't careful. And they've reinforced the snow flap to prevent that from happening. So the snow flap will bend but not break. These are all going to be added to the year 2026 snowmobiles. The overall lineup, there's a big emphasis on the catalyst and some really exciting changes to the snowmobile lineup for 2026. On the lower left-hand corner, the Kitty Cat, that is the 120, and this will be the last year for the 120 class. The 200cc class will become the primary kid sleds. Okay, so let's talk about what's included in the new 2026 model year. There's, like I said, the changes are more than just skin deep. Okay, you'll notice here that we've got the ZR RXC kind of all by itself. You can get this as either an 858 or the 600. And this is your high performance cross country racing type machine. That's what it's geared for. And for that reason, it comes with the QS3R shocks, which are the rebound adjustable. It's the only shock absorbers that Arctic Cat offers from the factory that are rebound adjustable. In most cases, you do get electric start, but in some of the categories like the mountain sleds and the RXC, you're going to get pull start options. But you can see here that we've got the ZR as a SnowPro package or the Attack package. Same thing with the Riot, same thing with the M. Now, if you get the SnowPro package, you get AC5S shocks, the 5-position adjustable shocks. They look like QS3s, they act like QS3s, except they're branded, they're Arctic Cat branded shocks, and they're 5-position adjustable. I would love to talk to somebody at Arctic Cat about the AC5S shocks, their development, the performance of them, and just kind of the nitty-gritty details. The other option here is the attack option. Fox IQS electronically adjustable shocks. In the past, you got the both skis, and then you got the rear track shock were adjustable, but the front track shock was not adjustable. Now you get all 4 shocks are adjustable electronically. The G8 display has got your maps and everything. That's the Garmin GPS and all that stuff built in. It is a beautiful gauge. With the SnowPro package, the G8 display is optional. One thing that's new that's not on this list is an absence of my snowmobile, and that is just a straight ZR with regular floating piston shocks. That is not available for 2026. Here's the new models for 2026. The one that I'm drooling over is the EXT Special. This is a ZR on steroids. So it only comes with the 858, but then it's loaded out. You got the G8 display, the Fox IQS shocks. In other words, it's got the attack suspension in it, but it's got a more aggressive track. It's got the 1.25" Ice Ripper XT track, and it's also got, if you look closely, it's got CNA Pro skis on it. Power steering changes the steering ratio and actually cuts the amount of motion in half. But then it didn't stop there, and what we're going to talk about in a minute, there's 2 new mountain sleds. There's the HCX and the HCR. Now, these are completely different machines, completely different. You can see if we go from the top down, it kind of looks, they're both mountain sleds. They're both 858, but that's it. On the HCX, you get Fox Float QS3 shocks. HCR stands for Hill Climb Racer. You get a sport gauge. Again, this is an all-business machine. Coil over QS3 shocks, and you get a 154-inch, 2.6-inch Power Claw track, mainly intended for hill climb. It is a coupled rear suspension, though, designed to keep that front end down when you're climbing. So we get a twin rail Catalyst mountain sled. Then let's go back to the middle option here, HCX 858. This is a mountain sled. It's geared toward the mountains, but it is a 146-inch track. You get Fox Float QS3s, but you know what I think of when I look at the HCX 858? Off-trail, ungroomed trails, a lot of rough conditions. I think there's a lot of people that would like that snowmobile. Twin rail rear suspension, but this is an uncoupled rear suspension. Oh, the other thing about the HCX 858 is it has a full-length heat exchanger. Okay, so as far as the mountain sleds go, there's a little bit more that we need to talk about. They have changed the belt drive ratio. The drive clutch ring gear. What they've done in the past is they've put a ring gear on the back of the clutch. So even if you don't get electric start, instead of they call it a false ring gear. The other thing you're getting with the mountain sleds is you're getting an aluminum drive shaft with a lightweight disc brake, and that shaves another 3.5 pounds off the rotating mass. Added to that, you're getting they call it a Stealth 88. It's a newer style Hayes brake and master cylinder. So all really exciting things to happen. Again, these are all the minor little adjustments that we really want to see from Arctic Cat, and we want this to continue to happen. I'd love to see these things, except for the belt drive ratio. The rest of this stuff could, be nice to have this translate into the trail sleds as well. All right, I've got a picture of my Catalyst with the G8 display, and you can see how with the trail sled, the G8 is tilted towards the rider. And for mountain sleds, they get a little bit of a change this year. Here's what the mounting system looks like for the G8 on the mountain sleds. You can see how it's much flatter. It'll be easier to clean the snow off of, and it's a lot easier to see from a standing position. So you don't have to bend over to see it. This is something you could retrofit on the 2024-2025 mountain sleds, and it gives you a little bit better access to your storage compartment as well. So here we go. We're going to talk about the EU models for a minute. You can get the HCR in the EU. You can also get an HCX, the perfect sled for Scandinavia, in my opinion. The Catalyst M Snow Pro and also the EXT Special. You'll notice that you do get low altitude clutch calibration. And again, the HCX comes with a full tunnel heat exchanger. The M also comes with a full tunnel heat exchanger. And of course, the EXT Special does as well. All right, now onto my favorite topic, the trail sleds. So there is, I've already talked about the EXT Special. That's what really gets my blood flowing. But the ZR overall comes back as the Snow Pro model, the Attack model, the RXC, and the EXT Special. There's no more floating piston shock machine like mine. You can get, if you order the Snow Pro, it comes with a sport gauge, but you can get the G8 as an option. Except for the EXT Special, all of the ZRs can be had in either the 600 engine or the 858. You also get the Riot this year. Now, they did slim up the Riot offerings a little bit. The Riot is a twin rail rear suspension similar to the HCX, really. Uncoupled, it's an adjustable ski stance between 38 inches and 40 inches. The only track option is a 1.75 Hurricane, which is probably the most popular option anyway. You can get the Riot in either a Snow Pro trim level or the Attack, and either the 600 or the 858. The Attack option not only gives you electronically adjustable shocks, but also gets you the G8 display. Then, Arctic Cat is offering Yamaha-powered Procross sleds this year, the Legacy chassis, the older style. You can still get the Thundercat. You can still get the Riot 9000. And they're also offering this year the Pantera 9000. Now, if you get the Pantera 9000, you get an extra gas tank in addition. And matter of fact, it looks a lot like it's basically going to be a Sidewinder. So if you look at the Sidewinder that Yamaha offered, there was an extra fuel tank in the back, extra saddlebags, the passenger seat, all the accessories, heated seat, all that stuff, plus the turbocharged 4-stroke engine, and that is going to be the Pantera 9000. You don't need to go all that way with the Arctic Cats, though. You can get the Pantera 7000 or the ZR 7000, and those have the 1049cc Yamaha 4-stroke that Arctic Cat has offered since 2014. You also have 400cc engine options. So this is the 400cc sleds. This is what we used to call the Blast. ZR 400, for example, they're a lot of fun, about 65 horsepower, which is actually plenty for an adult. I mean, you can get up to around that between 60 and 70 miles an hour. They sit really well. They're very comfortable. They're light, nimble. It's a lot of fun to ride these. So the ZR 400 is going to be available. Norseman 400, which has a long track designed for kind of utility work. The Riot 400, which is going to be a 2-up touring sled. It's going to have heavy-duty springs in it. And the Riot 400 is also going to be offered in that platform. And then finally, of course, is the 200 class ZR that's available, and then the 120, which they're calling the Kitty Cat this year. Final year for the 120. A couple of things to remember. Pre-order this year, you will get a 3-year warranty. It requires a $500 deposit. And the order deadline, this is important, the order deadline is going to be May 16th. So when this video comes out, that's roughly 2 weeks away. If you're looking to buy, what you need to do is talk to a dealer. I think this is a really exciting time to be an Arctic Cat rider. Thank you for watching this video, and next fall, I hope I see you on a brand new Arctic Cat on the trail.